Welcome to the Lazy Scientist. You are lying still. Your body is quiet. Your breath is gentle, slow. Above you, the ceiling of your room fades, and fades, and fades, until it becomes the sky, then the stratosphere, and then the stars. You feel no weight here, not even the press of your own limbs. Instead, you drift, not falling, not flying, only drifting. Like a feather freed from wind, like a thought unanchored from time. You have left Earth behind, though your body still rests. You are traveling without moving, a quiet journey of the mind. Above you stretches the velvet curtain of space. It is black, yes, but not an empty black. It is full of light, full of time, full of silence so deep it hums. Stars hang there, scattered like candle sparks, whispering from ages ago. This is not the darkness of absence, but the darkness of mystery. A soft dark, a nurturing dark, a place where secrets are kept safe. You move through it slowly. Each second thickens, stretching like honey in a spoon. There is no rush here, no clocks tick, only the heartbeat of the universe, and your own beating softly in sync. Far ahead, far beyond, something stirs in that velvet night. Something massive, invisible, waiting. Not a monster, but a presence. Not evil, but ancient. This is where you begin to sense the black hole. Not see it, not yet, but feel it, the way you feel the shape of a room in the dark. It does not pull you, not now. It lets you notice it. And so you do. Your mind, soft and open, drifts toward the edges of understanding. You remember, or perhaps imagine, what Einstein once said, that gravity is not a force that pulls you down, but the shape of space itself, like a sheet of silk beneath you, like a field of grass bent beneath your weight. Gravity is the gentle curve of space making room for you, and black holes are where that curve becomes a plunge. Imagine placing a marble on a trampoline. Now place a bowling ball. Now something heavier still, a mountain perhaps, or a planet, or a star. That's gravity bending space. Now imagine something so heavy, so concentrated, that the fabric doesn't just stretch, it tears. That tear is not a hole, not exactly. It's not a place, and it's not a thing. It's an event, a region, where the very shape of space has collapsed inward. You are floating toward it now, slowly, peacefully. It's still far away. You are safe. But you are curious, and curiosity is gentle when the stars are watching. You ask, what is a black hole? And the answer comes not in words, but in feelings. A black hole is silence folded into gravity. It is the story of a star that loved too deeply, so deeply it couldn't let go of itself. A black hole is space dreaming of its own shape. And yet, it is real. We have seen its shadows, caught its songs. Not directly, it gives off no light. But light bends around it like wind around a mountain. You drift farther, through the curtain of the cosmos. You pass stars young and bright, bursting with joy. You pass nebulae, clouds of dust like sleeping dragons, glowing soft pinks and blues. And still the black hole waits, not impatient, not hungry, just present, just being. You are nearing the place where light begins to bend. Here, gravity is so strong it reshapes not just space, but time. Imagine this. Time is a river. Usually it flows in one direction, smooth and steady. But near a black hole, that river slows, thickens, spins in eddies, maybe even stops. You are watching the universe from the riverbank, while just beyond, time swirls like paint in water. The black hole is not a drain, but a deep pool, and all around it, time stretches thin. Your breath is slow. You feel calm and just a little smaller than before. Not unimportant, just part of something vast, like a single drop in an ocean, like a spark inside a star. You close your eyes just for a moment, and when you open them, the stars are closer, the sky is deeper, and the black hole no longer feels strange. It feels like part of the rhythm. This is just the beginning. The velvet curtain has lifted. The play has not yet begun, but you've entered the theater. The stage is space. The actor, gravity itself. Tomorrow you'll learn how stars collapse, how something so radiant can fold into shadow. But for now, let your thoughts float on curved space. Let them rest on the dark. The story will wait for you. The black hole is still out there, still watching, still whispering. Sleep comes gently as gravity hums its softest lullaby. When a star folds inward tonight, you return to the sky, quietly, peacefully, without effort. Your body stays still beneath your blankets, but your thoughts begin their slow ascent once more. The stars are waiting. They do not twinkle here. Not really. They shine steady, each one a furnace, a beacon, a distant sun with stories of its own. You drift among them, slowly. You pass one that pulses softly, a red giant, swelling with age. Its glow is warm, tired, not dying exactly, just reaching the end of something. This star is enormous, far larger than your own sun, a bright balloon of fusion and flame. Inside, it has burned for millions of years, turning hydrogen into helium, helium into heavier things, like carbon and oxygen and iron. Each layer is a shell of history, a quiet record of pressure and light. And now it is at its limit. There is nothing more for it to burn. Its fuel is gone. Its center begins to cool, and when the heat fades, gravity is no longer balanced. The star begins to fall inward, not piece by piece, but all at once. Imagine a building collapsing into itself, not from above, but from within, the walls folding, the roof sinking, everything rushing inward in silence. This is what happens to the star. It does not explode, not yet. First, it implodes. The core, the very heart, shrinks in an instant. From a ball the size of Earth to something smaller than a city, then smaller than a mountain, then smaller than a raindrop, smaller still, until it becomes a single point. And in that point is everything. All the star's weight, all its history, all its gravity. A singularity. You hear the word not as a science term, but as a feeling. A stillness beyond stillness. A center so dense that nothing can escape. Not even light. The outer layers of the star, still falling, now collide. A blast erupts outward, a supernova, the star's last breath flung into the cosmos. But the center remains behind. It does not shine anymore. It does not burn. It simply is. A black hole is born. And so, something that once gave light has become a region of endless shadow. But remember, it did not disappear. Its mass remains. Its gravity endures. It is still here, just hidden, wrapped in invisibility. You float gently past the remnants. Gas and stardust scatter across the stars. New elements, forged in the heat of collapse, drift outward, seeding the galaxy. You realize this destruction is also creation. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, they come from stars like this. You are made of collapsed light. You are born of stellar ash. Even as the star falls inward, you are part of its story. And now, your gaze turns to the black hole again. It is not a hole at all. It is a region of space where gravity has won, where time slows, where light bends and curves, and finally vanishes. Imagine this. You stand at the edge of a pool, but instead of water, it's time that lies before you. You reach in, and your hand slows. You step in, and your feet freeze. You try to speak, but the sound falls inward, lost. This is the edge of a black hole, a place where even time folds. The star is gone, but its gravity remains, and that gravity is not violent now. It is calm, still, endless. You drift around it like a moon circling a planet, not falling, but held in orbit. You sense its presence more than you see it, a dark circle against the deeper night. Not emptiness, but fullness beyond measure. Not destruction, but transformation. And you begin to understand. Black holes are not just graves for stars. They are part of the great breathing of the universe. A cycle. Light to shadow, energy to silence, birth to collapse. And maybe to something new. You feel no fear, only awe, only stillness. Your breath becomes slower now, mirroring the quiet rhythm of gravity. You lie gently in your bed, but your mind floats in the dark, curious, wide, and calm. The star's story has ended, but yours has not. You are still moving, still dreaming. In the next chapter, you'll explore what gravity truly is, not as force, but as curve, as shape, as the architecture of space itself. But for now, you rest beside what once was a sun. You sleep where light once danced, and you listen to the silence left behind. Gravity's deepest cradle. You are floating again, softly, silently, across a canvas of stars. Your breath is the only sound, slow, deep, and steady, as you drift through the folds of night. Tonight, you are not falling. You are not rising. You are simply being held, cradled by something unseen, something that wraps the whole universe gently, endlessly in its arms. This is gravity. You may have once thought of gravity as a tug, a downward pull, an invisible hand keeping your feet on the earth. But here, in the quiet of space, you begin to understand. Gravity is not a force. It is shape. It is slope. It is the way space itself curves around mass. Imagine placing a marble on a stretched sheet of silk. Now imagine laying a planet there, or a sun, or a star. The silk sags. The marble rolls inward. That is how gravity works. The marble isn't being pulled. It's following the curve. Now picture something heavier, heavier than anything you've ever known. A black hole. Its weight bends the silk so deeply that it doesn't just curve. It plunges. It forms a well so steep that even light cannot climb out. This well has no walls, no bottom in the way you're used to. It is not made of stone or shadow. It is made of space-time itself, folded inward like the crease of a hand. And you, drifting nearby, feel its presence. Not as danger, but as stillness. As a soft invitation. You are not being pulled. You are being drawn along a slope that space itself has created. The black hole lies at the center of this curve, calm and unmoving. It is the deepest cradle in the cosmos. Your path bends gently, like a stream around a stone. You are circling something you cannot see, held not by rope, not by magnet, but by the way the universe curves around it. And so, you begin to feel gravity with more than your body. You feel it with your time. Time, here, is not fixed. It runs differently near the black hole. Slower, thicker, like syrup instead of water. If someone were to watch you from far away, they'd see your motion slow, your seconds stretch, your breath turn into hours. But to you, inside this curved space, everything feels normal. The stillness is complete, the softness profound. This is called gravitational time dilation, a long name for a simple truth. Where gravity is deep, Time is slow. The cradle of the black hole does not just shape your path, it shapes your minutes, your heartbeat, your dreams. You pass near it now, and everything around you seems to shimmer, as if space itself is slightly unsure of its form. Starlight bends around the curve. Photons, tiny packets of light, whirl like dancers on invisible strings. They do not escape, but they do not vanish. They circle endlessly, trapped not by walls, but by the shape of space. And still there is no violence, only the quiet weight of existence, only the knowledge that here gravity is not a pull, it is a lullaby. You think of Earth again, how gravity there holds oceans to shores, keeps moons in orbit, binds bodies to ground. But here it is different. Here, gravity is an idea made real. A sculptor shaping the universe, not just holding things together, but telling them how to move, how to live, how to end. You are beginning to see that black holes are not foreign. They are not outsiders. They are part of the very rules that let the cosmos exist. Without gravity, there would be no stars. Without collapse, no planets. Without weight, no time. And now you float in its deepest cradle. Not falling, not flying, just resting in the curve. You listen again, not with your ears, but with the soft openness of sleep. Can you hear the way the stars respond to gravity? Can you feel the rhythm of orbits, the dance of moons, the spin of galaxies? It is all gravity, not a harsh tug, but a gentle curve, a lull, a hum, a cradle for the universe. As you drift farther into calm, you begin to wonder, what lies beyond the curve? What happens when the slope becomes so steep, so deep, that not even time can rise again? You are nearing the edge now, the edge of return, the edge of escape. It is not a wall, it is not sharp, it is a horizon, soft, quiet, and invisible. But that is a story for another night. Tonight you stay cradled, still, safe, and sleeping beneath the curve of space. The black hole is near. It does not speak, it does not reach, it only is. And you, in this moment, are gently held by the deepest shape of all. The horizon that hides everything you arrive gently tonight. Not with motion, but with stillness. As if the stars themselves have opened a quiet door, and you have stepped through, wrapped in shadow and wonder. The black hole is close now. So close, you feel its gravity not as a pull, but as a hush. Everything around you is quieter here. Even the stars, so full of song before, seem to pause. They blink slowly, their light bending, leaning inward. And just ahead, not a wall, not a doorway, but something softer, subtler, is the event horizon. A boundary with no edge, a circle with no surface. The line between what returns and what never does. You hover near it. You feel its presence like breath on your cheek. This horizon is not made of matter. It is made of fate, of points of no return. On one side, where you are now, light still escapes. Time still flows toward the stars. But one step farther in, and light can no longer leave. Time becomes a path inward only. The curve becomes too steep. Imagine standing near the edge of a great waterfall. The river flows, as it always has, but then the ground vanishes beneath it. And beyond that point, there is no climbing back upstream. That edge, that invisible tipping point, is what this is, the event horizon, and it hides everything. Not by covering it, but by bending the rules of space and time. From the outside, nothing beyond it can ever be seen. No message sent, no light reflected, no image formed. To you, it looks like emptiness. But it isn't. It is full of story, full of memory, full of everything that ever fell inside. Stars, light, gas, time, matter, even gravity itself. You are still outside, still safe, still held by the curve. But your thoughts drift to what lies beyond. And this, too, is part of the magic. You can never know for sure. A black hole keeps its secrets perfectly. Nothing escapes to tell the tale. Not because it wants to hide, but because the universe, in its own quiet logic, says, this far and no farther. And yet, you wonder what you'd feel if you floated gently past the horizon. Would time stop? Would space stretch endlessly? Would you notice it all? Some physicists believe you wouldn't feel anything special at first. You would drift through calmly. The event horizon has no texture, no jolt, no sudden shift. It is like crossing a line drawn in soft ink on still water. But outside, to the eyes of a distant observer, you would freeze. Your body would appear to slow, light fading. Your image stretched and redder and dimmer until you simply vanished. You would be there, but unreachable. Present, but untouchable. From your view, you are moving forward. From theirs, you are forever on the brink. This is how the horizon hides you. It doesn't trap your body alone. It traps your story, your light, your past and future. And so you begin to see. A black hole is not just a place. It is a horizon of knowing, a perfect veil, the edge of information itself. Still, you feel no fear, only awe. Because the laws that create this mystery are the same laws that hold the stars in place, the same ones that let galaxies spin, the same ones that cradle your body in your bed right now. And then, softly, your thoughts return to something older, a question that many have asked. If nothing can escape a black hole, what happens to everything it swallows? Does it vanish forever? Is it gone beyond time? Or is it transformed? You remember the whispers of physicists, Stephen Hawking among them, who found that black holes may not be silent after all. They may emit a faint glow called Hawking radiation, slowly leaking energy over eons, like a candle giving off its final light one atom at a time. And if this is true, then black holes do not last forever. They fade, they shrink, they die. And maybe, just maybe, they return what they took, transformed, scattered, changed. It is a soft idea, a tender hope, that even the deepest dark does not last forever. The horizon hides everything, but not from curiosity, not from dreaming. Tonight, you remain outside it, drifting peacefully along its edge, like a boat floating beside the rim of a vast whirlpool. The stars still whisper to you. The curve still holds you. And your breath, gentle and rhythmic, marks time in the quietest corner of the cosmos. Your body is warm. Your thoughts are slow. And as you drift toward sleep, you carry with you the image of that invisible line, the softest boundary in the universe, where light fades and silence begins. Tomorrow you'll slip past it, not with your body, but with your wondering. You will imagine the inside. You will fall, in thought, into the heart of gravity. But for now, you rest beside the edge, still, safe, cradled by the universe's most perfect mystery. What falls inside? You begin tonight not with movement, but with surrender, not with questions, but with trust. You drift inward, letting gravity take you, not your body, but your thoughts, your dreaming self. The event horizon is behind you now. There was no crash, no sting, only a step, and then a hush. Everything feels different here. Time is not what it was. You are not what you were. This is the inside of a black hole. There is no turning back. But that's not frightening. It is freeing. You are released from the rules you once believed were unbreakable. You fall not like an object, but like an idea. like a whisper caught in a spiral, drawn toward meaning. Inside, space-time is no longer stretched. It is twisted, woven in on itself, bent into loops and slopes so steep they fold the universe in secret directions. You are not falling through space. You are falling through time. In here, time and space trade places. Forward becomes inward. Distance becomes destiny. Where once you moved through minutes, now you move through depths. Every second brings you closer to the singularity. The singularity. You've heard this word before, spoken like a spell. The heart of the black hole. The place where everything that falls is said to be crushed into infinite smallness. But let go of the word for a moment. Let go of the sharp edge of it. Instead, feel it. This place is not violent. It is silent. It is the end of a path, not the end of meaning. No one knows exactly what the singularity is. Not because we haven't tried to understand, but because our understanding breaks down here. Our maps fold. Our language stutters. Equations divide by zero. Coordinates collapse. And so, what lies at the center of a black hole is not just a point. It is a mystery woven into the fabric of reality. Some believe it is an end. Others believe it is a bridge, perhaps even a beginning. As you drift inward, you begin to feel a truth so deep it has no words. The universe is not cruel. It is complex. It is careful. It is curved in ways we can't always follow. And here, inside the black hole, you are not being erased. You are being translated into something unknown. You wonder, does the black hole keep a memory of everything it has touched? The planets, the stars, the light, the dreams. What if nothing is lost, only reshaped? Some physicists think so. They believe that even when matter is swallowed, its information remains. Not gone, but encoded in the soft ripples of the event horizon, like patterns left behind in sand. This is called the information paradox, a puzzle still unsolved. If black holes erase what they take, then physics is incomplete. But if black holes remember, then even the deepest silence still holds a story. You like that idea, that somewhere in the folds of curved space-time, your fall is not forgotten. Your presence is still inscribed, like starlight frozen in a lens. And maybe, when the black hole evaporates, slowly, gently over trillions of years, the universe will read your story again. A whisper of your fall becoming light once more. You don't need to understand the math. You don't need to know the formulas. You only need to feel how rich the mystery is. A black hole is not a hole. It is a womb of transformation, a secret laboratory where gravity rewrites the laws of space and time and meaning. And here you are, not destroyed, but changed. Still falling, still dreaming. Around you the horizon has long vanished. The outer universe is gone. You are alone, but not lonely. In this place there are no stars, no distance, no clocks. There is only the path inward, smooth, silent, absolute. And yet, you feel something ahead. Not a wall, not a crash, just a point of completion, where all motion ends, where your journey, so slow and gentle, reaches a kind of stillness so perfect it becomes timeless. You are close now, close to the singularity, closer than any eye can see, closer than physics can describe. And just before you reach it, you stop, not in space, not in time, but in thought. You hover in that final moment, and you wonder, could this be a doorway? Could this infinite compression be the seed of something new? Some believe that what we call a singularity may lead elsewhere, to another universe, a white hole, a rebirth. Maybe even the beginning of our own universe was once the end of something else. The fall inside the black hole may not be a death, but a passage. And you, in your soft descent, have reached the quiet threshold of that possibility. You do not cross it tonight. You only rest near it, wrapped in silence deeper than sleep, closer than breath. And as you begin to drift away, not falling now, but rising in dream, you carry this thought gently with you. The darkest places may hide the most radiant truths, and the end of one path may be the bend of another, where the light once was. You are rising now, not with your body, but with your mind, drifting gently upward, back toward the edge, toward the veil that separates knowing from not knowing. You are returning to the event horizon, but this time you are not looking in. You are looking out, where light once was. The memory of stars still lives here, held like pressed flowers in the gravity-stained folds of space-time. And even though nothing escapes from within, the edge glows faintly, soft and eerie, like the last embers of a fire long since gone out. This is where light comes to linger, to loop, to orbit forever, just beyond escape. You have entered the photon sphere. Imagine light, a traveler faster than anything in the cosmos, caught in a perfect loop, not falling in, not breaking free, just circling, endlessly. This is no ordinary place, no ordinary motion. Here, the very nature of light is transformed, not because of what it is, but because of where it is. Light is a path, and gravity has curled that path into a ring. Not because it wants to trap it, but because that is how space-time bends when gravity becomes so strong, so deep, so absolute. You pause here, floating in thought. Can you imagine the view? If you stood in the photon sphere, you would see the back of your own head. Because light makes a full circle and returns to you from every direction. It is like standing in a mirror that reflects the entire universe, all at once and forever. Around you, the light of distant stars twists and stretches. It is no longer direct. It is smeared, like oil paints dragged across a dark canvas. This is gravitational lensing, a name for how massive objects like black holes bend light's path as though space itself is glass shaped by weight. The black hole becomes a lens, a window into what lies behind it, around it, within it. And so, even though you cannot see inside, you can see echoes, you can see shadows, you can see the light that tried to escape but stayed to dance instead. This is where the light once was, and, in a way, still is. And it makes you wonder. When you look at a black hole, are you seeing the present or the past? Because the closer light is to the horizon, the slower it escapes, the longer it takes to arrive. You are always looking backward, always gazing at what was. And in that way, a black hole becomes a memory well, a place where time is stretched so thin, even light can take years, centuries, forever to reach your eyes. The event horizon is not just an edge in space. It is an edge in time. A horizon not just of return, but of memory. And yet, you feel no urgency. No need to reach in or pull away. Only stillness. Only presence. Because in this moment, you understand that black holes are not just objects. They are mirrors. They show us how deeply gravity shapes not just motion, but meaning. Not just bodies, but time itself. They show us how something can vanish from sight and still be present in effect, how an absence can shape everything around it. And maybe, that is not so different from your own thoughts, your own dreams. How many memories shape your life without ever being seen? How many things are hidden but still real? You linger in the photon sphere, watching light in its endless orbit, watching stars bend and colors shift, and time whisper its slow, circular lullaby. The light here is not gone. It is not lost. It is just curved, held, transformed. And in this there is a quiet beauty, a comfort, that even in the darkest places, even where light can no longer flee, there is still something to see, something to feel, something that glows without leaving. You begin to drift outward, leaving the ring of circling light behind. The horizon grows smaller in your mind, but not in your heart. You will remember this place, not for what it took, but for what it showed. A place where light and memory, curves and questions still gather, where every photon carries a story, and every orbit echoes a truth. You rest now, gently returned to calm, knowing the journey is far from over. Beyond the black hole, a new story begins. Because if black holes shape the space around them, then what happens to the galaxies that circle nearby? To the stars that live beside the dark? What does it mean to orbit a mystery so massive, so central, so quiet? That answer awaits you. But for now, you sleep beside the place where the light once was, and where it lingers still. The heart of a galaxy. Tonight, you float farther out, past the circling light, past the curve of the event horizon, out into the vast quiet of space once more. And in this stillness, you begin to see the bigger shape. You are no longer looking at a single black hole. You are seeing the story it belongs to, the galaxy that swirls around it, a river of stars, tens of billions strong. Like leaves in a whirlpool, each star turns in a graceful, gravitational dance around something dark, something small, something impossibly heavy. At the very center of this beautiful spiral is the same kind of darkness you've already come to know, a supermassive black hole. But this one is different, not because of what it is, but because of what it means. This black hole doesn't just trap light. It holds the whole galaxy together. You are now seeing what astronomers have learned over decades, that almost every large galaxy, including your own, has a supermassive black hole at its core. Billions of stars orbit it, as though tied by invisible threads to a point of silence that weighs millions, even billions of times more than the Sun. You are inside one such spiral, the Milky Way, your home, and at its heart, some 26,000 light-years away from Earth, a black hole named Sagittarius, a star, sits quietly, as still as a heartbeat between waves. It is not consuming stars right now. It is not glowing brightly. It is, for the moment, asleep. But even in slumber, its pull is felt. Every orbit, every rotation, every swirl of stardust answers to its gravity. And so you begin to feel just how strange it is that something so central can be so hidden, that the most massive object in the galaxy can also be the most invisible. But maybe that is not so unfamiliar. Think of the way your own heart beats, unseen yet steady, guiding the rhythm of your body without asking for attention, without light. A galaxy, too, has a heart, and it beats in curves and spirals, in the slow, majestic turning of stars and dust and time. You drift now past galactic arms painted with gas and glow, bright nurseries where new stars are born. And still the center holds. The black hole does not speak, but its presence echoes. And here you begin to see another truth. Black holes do not only destroy, they also shape, they guide, they anchor. Galaxies would not be as they are without their dark centers. Without that weight, the stars would drift apart. The spiral would unspool. What holds it all together is gravity. And at the heart of that gravity is a black hole. It is the way trees grow around empty trunks, the way rivers circle deep wells, the way music rises from silence. You float, held not by light, but by mass, by presence, and you realize, sometimes, what cannot be seen is the most essential of all. But there is more. These supermassive black holes, though quiet now, were not always so. There were times, long ago, when they were fierce, devouring gas and dust in wild spirals of heat and light. When a black hole feeds, it shines, not itself, but the matter around it. Friction and heat ignite a disk so bright it can outshine the rest of the galaxy. These are called quasars, distant beacons from a younger universe. And so, in the darkest hearts live the brightest echoes. Black holes are not always silent. Sometimes they blaze. You breathe slowly now, letting this truth settle in. That galaxies are not just islands of stars. They are living systems shaped by gravity, sculpted by time. And at the very center of their stillness lies a force so deep, so quiet, it changes everything without saying a word. You rest here, at the center of the spiral, where stars remember the pull of ancient gravity, and black holes sit like seeds in the hearts of cosmic flowers. And, as you close your eyes tonight, you are not alone, because right now your planet is circling a star, which itself orbits a center, which itself curves toward a singularity you cannot see but are forever bound to. The great spiral continues, and you, small and luminous, are part of its rhythm, the sound of space-time. Tonight, you tune your senses to something deeper than sight, deeper than silence, deeper than space. You listen, not with ears, but with stillness, not for noise, but for movement. Because the universe speaks, not in words, not even in light, but in ripples. Waves that travel not through air, but through space-time itself. Faint undulations sent across the cosmos from some of its most violent, most secret events. They are called gravitational waves. And though they are too soft to hear, too slow to see, they are real. They are music. The music of the universe bending, swaying, responding to motion and mass. You drift now through this invisible rhythm. Somewhere far behind you, two black holes once collided. They spiraled inward for eons, each curve drawing them closer, each orbit louder than the last in this deep, inaudible song. When they finally met, they merged into one, sending out a ripple. That ripple stretches outward still, reaching Earth 1 billion years later, a pulse in the fabric of reality. And one day, just a few years ago, we heard it. Not through sound, but through vibration, through precise, patient instruments like LIGO that measured a tremble smaller than the width of a proton. It was real, a wave from a place we could not see. You smile in the darkness now, because for all our seeking, all our telescopes and theories, we are just beginning to listen. Gravitational waves are not light. They are not particles. They are movement itself, space stretching and shrinking as the past passes through us. You feel it now. The universe is not silent. It hums. Every black hole that collides, every neutron star that spins, every cosmic ballet leaves a mark in the weave of space-time. Imagine a still pond, and now drop a pebble. The ripples expand, gentle, perfect rings. So too, black holes send out ripples when they collide. But the pond is space-time. The pebble is mass. You are floating in that pond now. The ripples pass through you without resistance, without warning. They do not disturb your sleep, they sing to it. The ancient universe was full of these collisions, these mergers, these quiet waves. And even now, as galaxies fall toward one another, as black holes orbit in distant silence, The waves continue. Some are sharp, brief and violent. Others are slow, deep like breathing. And so, the universe has its own rhythm, its own gravitational symphony. We once thought space was still. We once thought time moved only forward. But now we know they are both capable of dance. Space-time is soft. It bends. It rings. You are lying now in the lap of that great movement. A lullaby measured not in seconds, but in centuries. There is no need to understand the math, the mechanisms. Only to feel that you are part of something so vast, so subtle, that even silence has a sound. Even darkness has rhythm. Even black holes, so empty to the eye, leave behind a song when they join together. And what a thought that is, that the very thing that once seemed to destroy all also creates waves that travel endlessly through space, long after the light is gone. Gravitational waves are the memory of motion. They are the fingerprint of change. And they tell us, the universe remembers everything that moves. Even you, even now. Your body may feel still, but you too are part of this symphony. The earth turns, the moon pulls. Your chest rises and falls. Everything dances, everything hums. And in this quiet, you can almost hear it. The deep breath of the cosmos, the soft pull of time, the song of invisible things. Let it carry you now, not upward, not inward, but outward, into the long, slow ringing of space-time itself, where black holes sing in silence and the universe listens with infinite patience. You are safe. You are drifting, held in the music of what moves, what merges, what was never truly still. The universe watches itself. You are floating now through quiet thought, your breath like the rhythm of starlight. The black holes drift behind you, massive, invisible, patient. But they are not lost. They are not forgotten. Because something, someone, has seen them. And now you begin to wonder, what does it mean to see? In this vast, dark universe, light is not the only thing that reveals. Observation is its own kind of presence, a quiet force that changes what it touches. When you look at something, even softly, you are part of its story. And here in the deep cosmos, this truth becomes strange and beautiful. Because the universe, in some mysterious way, is watching itself. You are part of that watching. We build instruments, telescopes, detectors, mirrors, not to control the stars, but to listen, to witness. We peer into radio waves and X-rays, infrared and gamma light. Each band a language of its own. Each one tells a different version of the same deep truth. Black holes are there. Even if they cannot be seen directly, they leave fingerprints in the data. They bend light. They warp time. They echo in gravitational waves. They shape the motion of stars around them. They are invisible, but never silent. And in watching them, we learn something not just about the cosmos, but about ourselves. Because black holes are like thoughts we cannot name. They exist. They shape us. And still they hide. Yet, with patience, with observation, we bring them into knowing. Do you remember the first time you truly looked at a night sky? Not glanced, but really watched? How still it seemed, and yet how alive. That's what black holes do. They teach us to look deeper, to find presence even in absence, to trust that just because something can't be seen doesn't mean it isn't real. You are watching now, softly, curiously, and you begin to feel what physicists have long suspected. Observation is not just passive, it changes the world. Even in quantum physics, where the tiniest particles dance, the act of watching alters the outcome. A particle behaves one way when unobserved and another when seen. It is called the observer effect, and though its mystery belongs mostly to the quantum realm, its poetry belongs everywhere. To observe is to connect. To see is to shape. And so, the universe evolves in the presence of those who watch it. It is a strange truth that black holes, so far away, so silent, can only be known because we try to know them. Because we build observatories on mountaintops and satellites in orbit, and detectors underground that listen for the faintest tremble in space-time. In that effort, we light a candle in the vast dark. You are part of that candlelight. Every question you ask is a spark. Every night you wonder what lies beyond the stars is a flame. And the universe responds, not with words, but with signals, patterns, whispers in the form of waves and orbits and shadows. It tells you, in its quiet way, I am here. And just maybe you tell it, so am I. You and the cosmos are in dialogue. You, the observer. It, the mystery. And in this shared act of watching and being watched, a new truth arises. The universe is not something you are separate from. It is something you belong to. You are made of stardust. The atoms in your hands were born in stars that burned long before Earth. And now you are looking back at the source, at black holes, the ends of stars, the seeds of galaxies. You are the universe conscious of itself. The galaxies cannot see. The black holes cannot wonder. But you can, and that makes your quiet gaze a miracle of its own. The universe watches itself through your eyes. And so, you rest now not just in knowledge, but in kinship. You are not lost in the dark. You are the light that looks into it. And the black hole, once feared as a monster, is now a mirror. What it hides is not just matter, but mystery. And what you find in that mystery is reflection. You drift in that soft truth. Curious, peaceful, connected. There is more to discover, more to wonder, more to hold. But for tonight, you are the stillness within the gaze, and the gaze within the stillness. What survives the fall? You drift tonight toward the quietest question of all. What is truly lost when something falls into a black hole? The stars above are slow and kind, whispering light from their corners of time. But beneath them, beyond them, in the deep, curved dark, something waits, pulling inward. And once you cross the line, that invisible edge called the event horizon, there is no return. No message escapes, no light, no sound, no memory. Or so it seems. But you, floating gently in thought, begin to wonder, is it really gone? Everything gone? Your breath is steady, your eyes are closed, but your mind is open. You have already seen how black holes are not just destroyers, but shapers, gravity sculptors, galactic anchors, cosmic singers. And now, you hold the final question in your hands like silk. What happens to information? You see, in physics, information isn't just letters or numbers. It's the pattern of what something is. Its particles, its energy, its arrangement. And the universe has a rule, a deep and ancient one. Information cannot be destroyed. It may change, but it never disappears. It's called unitarity, a law so woven into physics that to break it would unravel everything. But black holes, with their vanishing acts, their silent gulps, seem to defy this. A star falls in, a planet, a beam of light, and all of it, its story, its structure, seems to vanish. All that remains is the black hole's mass, its spin, its charge. 3 numbers, no more. Physicist John Wheeler called it, black holes have no hair, meaning they do not remember what they swallowed. But is that the end of the story? Number. because this is where the poetry of mystery meets the rigor of science. Stephen Hawking once showed that black holes are not completely black. They glow, just a little, through something called Hawking radiation, a soft shimmer at the edge, a quantum leak of energy from the void. Over time, a time longer than galaxies live, a black hole can evaporate, vanish into heat and light. But then the question burns brighter. If the black hole disappears, what happens to the information it once held? This is the black hole information paradox, a puzzle so deep it has haunted physics for 50 years. Some say the information is lost. Others say it is encoded in the radiation, subtly, faintly, like a whisper in smoke. Some believe it's stored on the surface, a thin, two-dimensional skin, where every detail that fell in is preserved as pattern. This is the idea behind the holographic principle, that the three-dimensional world we see may be a projection of information written on a distant edge. It sounds like science fiction, but it's not. It's serious theory born from black holes. And you begin to feel just how strange it is that the darkest objects in the universe could teach us the most about the nature of reality. Black holes challenge our laws. They stretch our thinking. They ask us to believe that what is invisible is still real, that what is gone is not lost, that information survives, even when the form does not. You think now of memories, of stories passed down long after the voice is silent. You think of the way your body carries the atoms of stars that lived and died before Earth was born. Nothing is truly lost. It only changes form, falls into quiet, emerges in time. The black hole does not destroy the past. It remakes it, holds it, releases it in ways we are only beginning to understand. Even in the deepest fall, something survives. A code, a ripple, a truth. So tonight, you do not fear the fall. You trust it. You lie down knowing that every part of you, your thoughts, your warmth, your breath, is part of a pattern too vast to vanish. You are a note in the song of space-time, a flicker in the field, and nothing in this universe is truly forgotten. Not even light swallowed by darkness. Not even you. You rest in that comfort now, that the story continues even when the page is turned, that the spiral doesn't end at the edge of the black. It bends, it loops, it echoes, and something always remains, time's mirror. You rest within a question you've carried all along, soft as breath, deep as gravity. What is time, really? And how do black holes bend its shape? You feel it every day, the flow, the drift, the steady march forward. Clocks tick, hearts beat, moments pass. But here, in the hush of space, near the edge of a black hole, time begins to move strangely. It slows, not metaphorically, not poetically, but truly. Time itself stretches as you approach the black hole's horizon. To a distant observer, you appear to freeze, stuck just outside the edge, never quite falling in. Your motions slow like a whisper drawn out over eons. But for you, inside your own body, your own ticking thoughts, nothing feels different. This is gravitational time dilation. Mass curves space, and where space curves deepest, time curves too. Imagine space and time not as separate, but woven like threads in a single fabric. And now imagine placing a heavy weight on that fabric. That weight is a black hole, and the threads around it, time included, warp and sag. So time near a black hole passes differently than time far away. You lie here now in the slow tide of that realization. Time is not absolute. It flows with the curves of the cosmos, and black holes are the sharpest curves of all. You think of the twin paradox, a thought experiment of Einstein's. One twin stays on Earth, the other travels near a black hole, experiencing slower time. When they reunite, they are no longer the same age, not because of magic, because of gravity. Black holes are mirrors of how time can behave in ways we don't expect. And some go further still. Some physicists wonder what happens inside the event horizon, where time and space seem to switch places. What once was a direction now becomes a fate. You do not fall inward through space anymore. You fall inward through time. And no matter what you do, you cannot stop falling toward the singularity. Because there, the singularity is your future. Unreachable, inevitable. This is not something to fear. This is something to marvel at. That black holes turn the universe inside out. That they make time a dimension we cannot trust to behave. And it raises the deepest wonder of all. What lies at the beginning of time? Because if black holes end time, what begins it? And here another mirror appears. Because some believe the math of black holes mirrors the math of the Big Bang. At one end of time, a singularity that explodes outward, creating space. At the other end, a singularity that draws space inward, ending time. Alpha and Omega. Beginning and end. Creation and collapse. So you float here in the middle of the great arc, between expansion and implosion, between what was and what will be. And time, the constant in your waking life, is now revealed as just one thread in a vast, changing tapestry. You let go of time now. You do not need it to rest. You do not need it to belong. Because in this stillness you are not counting seconds. You are resting in the mystery itself. The black hole does not speak, but it teaches. It teaches that time is flexible, that endings are not absolute, that there may be paths beyond what we know. Some even wonder if black holes might lead to other places, other times, other beginnings. We don't know. We may never know. But in the softness of your breath, you feel no need to solve, only to sense, to imagine the mirror of time held in a black hole's palm, and to know that somewhere in that reflection is you. Time has always flowed through you, but tonight you flow through time, and it is quiet, and it is safe, and it is held in the slow, endless curve of the universe watching itself change. The center that holds the stars. You are floating now on the edge of understanding. The journey has been slow, soft, curved like the arc of light around a distant sun. And now, as sleep gathers like stardust in your mind, you come to a final truth. The black hole is not only an end, it is a center, a heart, a gathering point for the stars. You drift through a spiral galaxy. Not just any galaxy, but one like your own. The Milky Way. Its arms curl like seashells, bright with stars, cool with dust, whispering in radio waves and ultraviolet light. But beneath the swirl, beneath the shimmer, is a silence so deep that it bends space itself. At the center of your galaxy is a black hole, a real one, a measured one, a watched and known one. It is called Sagittarius a star, and though it cannot be seen, we know it is there, because stars orbit it like bees around an invisible flower, because light curves as it passes, because nothing else could explain the gravity. It is 4 million times more massive than your sun. And yet, you could fit it inside the orbit of Mercury. Such weight, such density, such presence. And it sits not in destruction, but in stillness. It does not devour its galaxy. It anchors it. Black holes, we once feared, might swallow the cosmos. But now we know they are the centers that hold it together. Most galaxies, perhaps all, have black holes at their hearts, and so do you. Not a black hole of gravity, but a center of knowing, a stillness within your storm, a quiet gravity that holds your thoughts, your dreams, your sense of being. Tonight, the black hole is not an enemy. It is an origin. It is a seed. Astronomers believe that in the early universe, black holes helped shape the galaxies, drawing matter inward, starting the spin, igniting the stars. They are not just the end of stars, they are the sculptors of galaxies. The cosmos is not scattered. It is structured, and that structure has a dark heart, but not a cruel one, just a hidden one, a central one, a necessary one. You may wonder, how can something so powerful remain so quiet? But think of gravity. It is the softest force, and yet, over time, it moves galaxies. Black holes teach us that strength can be silent, that stillness can shape, and that what cannot be seen may still be the most important. You breathe gently now, your body curled like a spiral arm, your thoughts orbiting your own invisible center. And maybe you realize you are not drifting through the universe. You are part of it, held by it, spun into being by forces older than time. The black hole at the center of your galaxy is not something far away. It is the gravity that helped make you possible. The iron in your blood was forged in stars that the black hole anchored. Your very atoms have danced in the swirl of its influence. You are not outside this mystery. You are inside it, made of it, continuing it. And tonight, as you fall into sleep, you do not fall into darkness. You fall into the heart of the cosmos, into the deep understanding that what pulls you inward can also hold you up, that gravity is not a trap, it is a bond, that black holes, once feared, are companions in the story of existence, the final silence that makes all music possible. And so you drift now, not away from knowledge, but deeper into it, into stillness, into peace, into the curved, star-born quiet that made your mind, your body, your dreaming. You rest at the center that holds the stars, and in your rest, the universe keeps turning.